Hey everyone, welcome back. This is JR, founder and CEO of Social Market.
And this is Leon. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Social Market.
Yeah, and this is Social Ledger Report, giving you weekly news on the state of crypto, the markets, everything you need to know about where the market's moving, for lack of a better word. Funny enough, we were just recording now and we fucked up halfway, so this is our second attempt.
Yeah,
But
little technology problems today. I don't know what we're talking or what we're doing. We'll figure it out one of these days.
For sure. But we do have some interesting stories to go over this for this last week. While we have very few stories, the subject of what we'll be discussing is pretty significant because it affects the president of the US. For the first story, World Liberty Finance, which is backed by Trump Media, launched officially its token World Liberty Finance on September 1st, and the price tanked that same day. So more on that. And then Trump Media and Crypto.com, the fourth largest exchange in the world, I believe, partnered up. So I'm not sure what this indicates for the future, but, quite a few things came up for that partnership, so we'll cover that here in a moment. And then the last topic, we'll talk about a more recent attack, I guess. It happened today as of the day of recording, Monday, September 8th. Do you know what it is? More specific?
Yeah,
more details?
it looks like a large scale crypto hack. It's spreading supposedly across Twitter. It's essentially a issue with I guess wallets. And it's funny, there's a Trump linked project that are already under scrutiny too for security issues. So right now when this is happening, it's just kind of interesting timing as crypto's getting a lot more focus.
I think this is about to happen. We've started to see a more acceptance towards crypto and stablecoins. So while more people and more volume is moving into the markets, there's going to be more reason to break these systems. So this is probably part of that. But yeah, before we continue, just a reminder, like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and give us a subscribe if you like what we talk about. It costs you nothing, and it helps us keep providing you content every week on the state of the markets. But yeah, with that being said, why don't we talk about the markets, Leon? So it's a social market. We've made some updates in the last few weeks. It's still growing. Right now, the altcoin season index sits at 53 out of 100, which means that we have a mixed market leaning more towards altcoins. And then fear and greed index is sitting at 51%. So it is slightly more on the greed side, but it's more neutral. If I were to give an estimate, we should probably update the labeling here. But that's the state of the fear and greed, which you could kind of put in tandem with the state of the markets being bear or bull. So it's about medium, neutral. Inflation is sitting right below 3%.
I've got just a feature thing. Can you click on that alt season index?
Yeah, we
Let's
can.
do this live. If you scroll over the chart, I would love for that chart to be show me what the previous ones are,
Yes. So funny enough, some of this data here is a little bit inaccurate because we're in the middle of changing providers. We found a more reliable provider for this market data. So we'll be making that change as of next week. When you tune into the episode, you should see a bigger difference with market data here. So very excited to share that with you. But good idea on that, Leon.
Yeah, I wanted to go look at something real quick and I was like, oh wait, I can't pull that. But September is traditionally a really rocky month for markets in general.
Yep.
It's always been a slow month. You had September 4th where you had almost $200 million worth of crypto positions were wiped out. Overall though, I think fear and greed being at 51, altcoin is still staying somewhat strong. It's a sign just that the crypto markets are kind of preserving through everything, because there was also optimism around possible Fed Reserve interest rate cuts. That jobs report was just abysmal, and that I think scared a lot of folks.
Job reports, like unemployment rate?
Yeah, so the federal job reports, I think it reported the lowest since 2008 in a single quarter. It was 3,000 or 4,000 jobs added. So there's a lot of major issues happening in the world. There's possibility us tariffing foreign workers from India and call centers. We're fighting a drug war with Venezuela. Israel and Gaza's still happening. Ukraine and Russia's happening. You've got Russia, China, India, Pakistan, all these countries kind of meeting together. So seeing the fear and greed stay at 51, which is relatively neutral, is a good sign.
Yep.
Inflation staying somewhat there is a good sign. And then also, like, altcoin kind of staying a little ahead also just shows, like, hey, Ethereum still staying strong. Bitcoin's holding on to its price. Like, what's the Bitcoin price? 112 right now? Like
112,000.
Yeah, what's ETH? Like 4,300, 4,400? 4,300. Like, that's a really good sign. Yeah, you got XRP, which is still holding. Binance Coin's really great. Solana was hitting all-time highs. ADA, Cardano was doing really good.
Yeah.
There's like a few other emerging coins out there. Like, Doge is always doing good, but you have like Remittance and LB Ret, Little Pepe, Pengu. All of those are still staying strong. I'd love to see that. Like look, my favorite fart coin is Trump coin up.
Should be.
It's still $8.
Yeah, we're having some issues with pulling this data right now, but it should still be. This has been the average in the last month, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah, I bought a little high when it was there. I think I bought like $12. Unfortunately.
Oh man,
I bought
you
the
definitely
wrong side of the hype cycle for him.
believe me too. Looking a little bit more into Bitcoin, updated some of the UI here, if you haven't noticed. So we had a bit of a dip between the 5th and the 6th. I think this was like Friday time. It dipped from 113 to just almost 110,000. So now it's kind of recovered into 112. So that's the state of Bitcoin. And while we talked about Ethereum, when Ethereum does well, other crypto-based tokens do well as well. And if you're noticing here, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that between the 5th and the 6th again, it did have this massive dip. We're talking about almost $200 for the price of Ethereum. It pretty much hit everything, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, with this price decrease. So it's really interesting.
When was it?
This was 5th and the 6th, so that must have been Thursday, Friday.
I wonder what that lines up to. I'm sure there's something going on. The 4th is when it all happened. So yeah, that falls at the 200 million of those positions that were out there. So that aligns perfectly. But like, you're seeing a lot of heavy long positions on Bitcoin, and then like Ethereum's are pretty neutral, but those spot ETFs have like almost $4 billion of inflows in August. So institutions are moving to like these longs of, I guess, the blue chips, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Sol, ADA, like they're kind of putting those in there. I'm surprised that Link is still such a strong volume right now. Market cap, kind of shocked there.
I think people are just speculating that it'll do well. Last week, I talked about how Link blockchain partnered up with the Department of Commerce to store market data on the blockchain. So because of that news, Link should have gone up in price. This is relatively recent data, but people are buying. I wouldn't be surprised if people are holding. They're speculating that it'll go up. So that's the price on Chainlink right now, $22. Really interesting. This is pretty much the state of the markets. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about, Leon?
No, nothing else on this part. I think we can jump into the topics because most of the other stuff's happening outside of there, and I really want to talk the Trump stuff. I'm kind of interested.
Yeah. So this is World Liberty Finance. Now, what's interesting is it launched in several blockchains. It launched on several layer 2s like Uniswap Chain, Ethereum, Polygon, you name it, which I think is really interesting. But it also launched in Solana. And I'm not surprised on Solana. That's where most of the trading volume happens.
But it's an ETH. The DeFi is ETH based. It's an Ethereum mainnet, right?
It should also be on mainnet, Ethereum mainnet chain. But it was in Polygon as well, if I'm not mistaken, and Unichain. So, it's kind of interesting seeing World Liberty Finance in different networks. Now, something I want to show off on Social Market. We've been working on this filtering system, which should kind of give you an idea of what is happening. So I guess it'll make more sense if I only filter out Ethereum-based tokens with Solana. It'll say that Solana here, there is a World Liberty Finance token right here. It's sitting at 21 cents right now, which it's a little bit different than the one in Ethereum. Oh no, it's also at 21 cents. But
yeah, because I think because it hit about 46 cents high and then collapsed to like about the 20. Well, when it would collapse, it was like 23 cents.
Yes.
Within a day, but it was about 46 cents as the high, and then I don't know why it's saying all-time high is 21 because I'm pretty sure it was 46 cents.
Yeah, so this is inaccurate data, so I do apologize for this, but we're still working to fix this for social market. People are actively trading right now based on this recent transactions. To say the least, World Liberty Finance did blow up the first day that it launched on September 1st, and it reached 46 cents. But because on the launch of the token, early investors, and I believe the developers, I believe, were only able to sell 20% of their holdings. So that's why it fell down to as much as 21 cents. If I'm not mistaken, it was 20.
Yeah, but the team executed like a 47 million token burn, which is about 0.19% of the circulating supply. And that was supposed to like boost confidence and shrink the supply, but it failed to stop that slide. And then the other part of it is there was a few well investors out here. So, and I'm looking for the numbers in my notes. The well investors lost one. One trader lost 1.6 million on a 3x leveraged long that collapsed after 64 hours. And then, like in paper value, they lost about $2 billion here. So it was like it was a hype driven coin, and it's politically branded.
Yeah.
There's a lot of market pressure out there. Developers had to blacklist suspicious wallets. There was this dude, I don't know who he is, Justin Sun.
He's the founder of the Tron blockchain.
Justin Sun. They had to freeze billions of tokens after detecting transfers ahead of the blacklist. So there was a lot of things like there. The move was actually part of what triggered the 50% price drop, and then raised concerns around centralization and then control of it, which is like the whole thing is, it contradicts the ethos of like DeFi, like decentralized finance. So this is kind of interesting because the Trump family holds about 25% of this, and like this public listing puts their value somewhere in the $5 to $7 billion range.
That's right.
Like, though they're locked from selling, the token's presence really has like just blew up their family wealth in crypto.
Yeah. So this is from BBC. The headline goes, Trump and Son's stake in crypto firm is worth $5 billion. So this is probably after, this is 6 days ago. So this is after the launch of the World Liberty Finance token. There's a couple of interesting comments made here. Well, I say comments, but, things that BBC covers about this. Just to kind of glance at this, it talks a little bit about, the context background of WLFI or WLF, if you want to call it that. Anyways, so as of Tuesday, World Liberty Finance was trading around 22 cents on exchanges such as Binance and Coinbase after sinking roughly 50% since start of the trading on Monday, which was September 1st. While the fall indicates tepid demand, the coin is still trading at a higher price than what many early buyers would have paid initially, putting them in a line of profit. So because of that statement there, it's pretty clear that, people who sold right away, which they were only, based on the contract, they were only able to sell, 20% up to 20% of their holdings, which, was at 46 cents. So, they made a shit ton of money off of that alone. So this was an insider trading as it gets. This is from Eric Strong. He says, we're setting a new standard for financial freedom built on trust, speed, and U.S. values. He wrote that on social media. This is a huge moment for the future of money. And then, according to financial disclosures, Trump himself, this is the president, Trump himself holds roughly 15.75 billion World Liberty Finance tokens, worth more than 3.4 billion, making crypto the most significant source of his fortune. which I think is really interesting. And then the Trumps overall control just under a quarter of roughly 100 billion World Liberty Finance tokens that it created last year, giving them claim to holding worth roughly 5 billion as of Tuesday's price. I think it was that much. It was sitting still at around 20 cents. Yeah, so that was BBC, which I think it's a really interesting article. We'll leave the link on the description if you're watching this on YouTube. I have my thoughts, and I don't know if I should share them because, I don't want to make this political. But I think it's ironic how Trump says this is a huge moment for the future of money. And yet there was a lot of insider trading that happened there, which tanked the price. Now, it shouldn't be too surprising knowing that, this happened given the state of the Trump meme coin, especially since a lot of their money is tied to crypto now, as we saw in that article. So if you want to invest in anything that Trump releases, I would probably wait. This is not financial advice, but this is what I would do. If I would invest in anything that Trumps were releasing via crypto, I would probably wait until they sell. And then they're probably going to make some noise, as we saw with Trump meme coin, where, a lot of people sold after he got inducted into being president. And then maybe like a month or two later, they were saying, hey, if you are a Trump meme coin holder, you actually get perks to sit down with the president himself, the big daddy of this country, and get invited to a very intimate and personal dinner. And then after that, we saw the meme coin skyrocket for, I don't know, maybe at least 10%. So just be careful where you put your money, especially when it comes to Trump.
Yeah, I agree with it. Like, there's no clear path. Like, there's too much centralization on this coin. Like,
Yep.
The fact that Trump Oregon's 25%, it's just, at any point they could tank it. It's not in their interest to tank it, but there's just the problems with it.
Agreed. So just put your money where your money is going to be going to, and be careful and do your own research. That's really all that it goes. But yeah, this has been World Liberty Finance. I think we will next talk about something that is still relating with Trump, and that is Trump Media's partnership with Crypto.com, the fourth largest exchange in the world, I believe. So this is Crypto.com/US, their latest and newest webpage here. So Crypto.com here has the American flag, which you go to their website, Crypto.com, you click on it, it'll take you to this page. It says America's premier crypto trading platform. It gives you a highlight on the app itself. And then you scroll down just enough, you're going to see this big sign that says breaking news. Trump Media Group and Crypto.com announced America's 6.42 billion CRO treasury. So CRO is the proprietary token for Crypto.com. The fact that they're having a treasury of that volume is pretty significant. If I click on tap for more, it takes you to mcga.com/news/ the name of the article, which is talking about the strategic 6.42 billion treasury. Just to kind of go over it, you can read this article if you're watching this on YouTube via the link in the description below. But it says, as of August 26, 2025, West Palm Beach, Florida, Yorkville Acquisition Corp. of NASDAQ York, that's the ticker, Trump Media and Technology Group Corp., and that's DJT, and Crypto.com today announced they have entered into a definitive agreement for business combination, on parentheses, the business combination, to establish Trump Media Group CRO strategy, a digital asset treasury company focused on acquisition of the native cryptocurrency token of the Kronos ecosystem. That's CRO, which is Crypto.com's proprietary token. Yorkville Acquisition Corp. is a special purpose acquisition company, SPAC, sponsored by Yorkville Acquisition. So that's kind of a disclaimer. And this is kind of like the meat and potatoes of what's happening. So it says, at the close of the business combination, Trump Media Group CRO strategy will be a majority owned by Yorkville Trump Media and Crypto.com, together as founding partners. Expected funding for the digital asset treasury will consist of $1 billion in CRO, which is about $6,313,000,000 and 212 CRO tokens, which represents 19% of the total CRO market cap. Essentially, Kronos is becoming more centralized just by this deal. and it
Yeah, but
follows
they're also going to use those as rewards on their platforms, right?
possibly.
So Truth, like I thought I read Truth Social, Truth Plus, Truth Fi, whatever the heck they're called, are
Truth
going to
Social.
use them as utility rewards on the platform. So convert platform gems into CRO, pay for
Okay, yeah.
subscriptions, receive discounted Truth Plus access if they open a Crypto.com account. So kind of like making all their stuff cryptofied in a way.
That's a good point. I didn't even know about that. Thanks for
Yeah,
that.
because the 6.24 you mentioned, I think you mentioned it, and I was halfway listening.
You're
Uh,
good. So
is
that's the volume.
$1 billion in CRO tokens, 200 million cash, 220 million in warrants, and then 5 billion equity line of credit. So it's not
Yeah.
a 5 billion percent or a 6.42 billion treasury. It's like it that's the total amount, but it's not the total amount that's going to be in coins at the moment.
Okay, yeah, no, the actual volume for the treasury itself is 1 billion, which is
Yeah,
in Kronos.
which is
That's interesting.
684 million CRO tokens right now, which is 105 million. And they did it in cash and stock deal. So there, and then Crypto.com will invest 50 million into TMTG shares. So like this is a pretty big partnership for them.
It is. So this is on Kraken Exchange, and this is the price of Kronos. It's sitting at 25 cents. And this is
What's
as
the
of,
1 week? Did it spike?
oh yeah, it spiked at 28 cents and then it went down to 25 cents.
But I think
And
that spike was the highest it's ever been. Yeah.
yeah, if you look back a month ago, it was like 15, 16 cents at least. And now it spiked to, I'm sorry, it spiked to 40 cents as of August 28th.
Yeah.
Or just under 40 cents. It was 38 and now it's sitting at 25. The highest it's ever been was actually almost $1 according to
Oh
November,
wow.
yeah, as of November 23rd, 2021. So
Very
that,
big difference.
yeah, that's huge. I mean, 2021 was the time for crypto was blowing everything up. It didn't matter if it was vaporware. Your token was probably worth a lot back then. So some of the statistics go as follow. It is the 28th market rank as of volume. It is a volume market cap of 8.45 billion, circulating supply of 34 billion, almost 80 million in volume. The 5-year high is 89 cents. The 5-year low is 4 cents and almost 5 cents. The all-time high is actually 97 cents, so that's probably as of 2021. And 5-year change is just 10 cents. So, yeah, I mean, it stayed pretty consistent between 5 cents and 15 cents. And then recently, yeah, saw
Yeah, I
parabolic
want
volume.
Binance is, it's a foreign exchange.
Yep.
Their coin has done the best out of any like exchange backed token.
Yes.
Circle in a quasi way is kind of Coinbase's like token, but it's a stable coin, so it's different. But I think Crypto.com is trying to make their coin more useful and aligning with what is objectively the person that's running crypto into this direction is probably a really good deal for them. But I'm just not sure like this coin has any legs to it on the long term. It'll be interesting if like the Trump universe keeps using it. It's an interesting partnership, and I don't know if it's going to really like make CRO worth anything in the long run.
We don't even know who the founders are or who the founder is for crypto.com, but everyone knows CZ from Binance. So I guess that's why the token could be worth a lot more, because a lot more people know Binance. It is the largest exchange in the world. It was early to market. Its token is worth over $400 right now. So
Yeah,
there's
so
several factors.
Crypto.com is a Hong Kong based thing. It's Bobby Bow, Gary Orr, Chris Marzalko, and Rafael Mello in 2016.
We don't know anything about them. I don't know if they have a presence in the media. And also, I was wrong. For Binance or BNB right now, it was not $400. It's almost at $1,000.
800. Yeah.
878. So pretty high up there compared to 25 cents for this token, which this could be a signal that there might be more demand, there might be more growth. Trump is a very polarizing figure, so only time will tell. But if people are active, if people genuinely like Truth Social, and people genuinely like crypto, then there could be some demand for this token. It does have a finite supply, so it's not like proof of stake. It's not, you know, infinite cash almost. So I can see it going up. I'm actually gonna put some money into CRO. You do what you will with this
Well, yeah,
information.
might be worth it. Yeah,
It
some
could be
small
worth it.
dollar.
Funny enough, I have a friend who is a bit of a conservative. He's very political. He was actually talking about buying Kronos because of this. So he already put like $1,000 into it, and this guy is in banking, so
Oh, wow.
you know.
Well, I think that's all I have on that one. Like, let's talk security then, as the final topic. And
Yeah.
this one's an interesting one. So, Charles Gilmet, he's the CTO at Ledger, came out today that there was a large scale, and what it's called is a supply chain attack, NPM. And the reason it's called a supply chain hack is NPM, it's Node Package Manager. So it's like
Yes.
what is widely used in JavaScript ecosystem. So if you code on the internet today, you're probably using JavaScript in some capacity. There was malicious code injected into popular packages and collectively downloaded over 1 billion times.
Oh,
So
jeez.
this is like a huge, large scale attack. And what he's saying, this is one of the most severe supply chain compromises in JavaScript's ecosystem history. He says anybody with a hardware wallet should avoid on-chain transactions entirely until you can verify a transaction meticulously before signing. Anything out there that essentially uses JavaScript can be affected. And it's been, a billion downloads. It's huge. This article that he shared actually gave a lot of information. And I think really helps kind of explain it. We'll put it in the show notes just as a one, but it just explains like the popular developer QIX was compromised, all the way to chalk, stripped and it says color convert, all this stuff. They're working on like a resolution to this, but it essentially breaks down every single thing. And what it was doing was able to swap out your hardware wallet like ID at the very end. So there was a lot of functions here, and essentially, yeah, like I said, address swapping. Like you couldn't know until it was too late sometimes. So really, really big hack out there. Like it is just a massive thing, and like the Whale Watcher, they're talking about it. Like people were kind of speculating like what's happening, but essentially any hardware wallet could have been affected. It's not just Ledger. It was like any wallet out there. Ledger's just the one to kind of find it. But essentially, this was the largest scale attack on crypto. And I think a lot of people were kind of confused at it because it's like, hey, what's going on? But specific to hardware wallets, because it's, the interface for it that could have been compromised. But massive attack. Like this is like Microsoft having a vulnerability in like email.
With CrowdStrike almost.
Yeah, like this is the level of like compromise that just happened. Like rarely do you see something like this. It's like a 0-day bug in Chrome that every computer has. Like,
well, I guess
rare
just don't.
occurrences of this.
Yeah, and I guess my only thoughts are if you're a developer like me or something and you use JavaScript or NPM, you may just want to update it. There might be an update issued for NPM that fixes it. Hopefully by next week or this week. They're actually NPM is pretty good about releasing updates. But just to give you an idea of the kind of apps that are crypto based that let you transmit money, make online transactions, on-chain transactions, I mean, that are on JavaScript, I'll give you a list. We have MetaMask, we have Phantom Wallet, we have Rainbow Wallet. As far as exchanges, we have Binance, Coinbase, Kraken. We also have decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap. And then as far as NFT marketplaces and decentralized apps, we have OpenSea, Blur, we have Aave, Compound, MakerDAO, Curve. Those are for DeFi apps. And then if you use toolkits, well, you obviously have in libraries on JavaScript, you have Web3.js and Ethers.js. You have Truffle, Hardhat. So you're not getting around it. So just be careful what you do out there. Not to spread FUD or fear, but this is a pretty big issue. Just keep an eye out if you're a developer. Hopefully these companies give some more updates as far as this goes, because if it's affecting ecosystems and applications at the core level of building applications, then this is pretty serious. And if you need to move your money, I would just hold on right now, just because you don't want to lose it or you don't want to risk anything.
Yeah, I would be safe than sorry in this scenario. Like, this is
Yep.
a pretty serious like breach of security, and unless you meticulously review every part of your transaction, I wouldn't move anything. But it also just really shows like there are some vulnerabilities in crypto that I don't think anybody is able to really quite understand.
Okay, so I was on Twitter and I found this update from Phantom Wallet. So just to kind of give you an idea of the kind of messages you want to look at. So this is from Phantom and it's verified. It's Phantom. It says Phantom is not a risk. We have confirmed Phantom does not use any vulnerable versions of the affected packages. We take a number of steps to guard against these types of attacks, including strict version pinning of for all dependencies, preventing automatic updates to potentially compromised packages, mandatory security reviews for all packages upgrades before integration, multi-layer dependency scanning and vulnerability monitoring, as well as isolated build environments with integrity verification. We take the security of our users and their funds extremely serious. So, you want to look for those kind of messages. So I guess you're good to use Phantom. So that's good.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Like it's just one slip up could do it, but NPN, it's used everywhere. Like I use it on a bunch of stuff, and I'm sure we use it in social
Yeah.
market in some capacity. But
We do.
it's probably the most recent version. Most people probably are not using that in production already. Like
Yeah.
there's probably a limited amount to this, but also one slip up of you not getting the news and you push it all live to production could put everybody at risk. So just be careful on what's happening, and I think more and more apps are going to be like, hey, here's how you are securely operating.
Yeah, we actually don't use the latest version of NPM or Node package for social markets, so I think we're good for now. We'll keep an eye out on this, and if we learn anything new, we'll keep you updated as well. Great. I don't think we have anything else to cover, do we?
No, I don't think so. Just the follow up. Ask if you've made it this far. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Leave a comment on YouTube on your thoughts, and then like, subscribe. Kind of engage. It helps us push it out there. But the biggest one is leave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Leave it a like or leave it a dislike, however you felt, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this type of content. Thanks again.